Hey everyone, your designers are here.
I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home.
We have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today, so let's get started.
This is episode 250, Design Decisions That Will Help You Sell Your House. And the show notes for today's episode can be found at decoratingtipsandtricks.com/250.
250? That's crazy.
I know. What happened?
We have a lot to talk about.
That's so fun. It's been so great. I can't believe we have 250 podcast episodes out there in the universe. I hope everyone's enjoying them as much as we are.
If you do say so yourself.
If I do say so myself.
One of my favorite pastimes is, and I don't know what this says about me, is I love looking at houses for sale in the mountains. Not that we're looking to buy, but I love looking at them. And
You've already bought, so you're good.
Yeah, I know, but I enjoy looking at the houses. And the thing I've noticed is that some of them can look pretty dated pretty fast. And there's some things that people can do to update. And you think that house looks like it was designed yesterday, or there's just certain things that I'm looking for and certain things that I think if the house doesn't have it, this is the sort of thing that I would want to redo. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're talking about today, are the things that you can do to your house that would really help it sell and that you can enjoy now. But these are things that are kind of really things that buyers are looking for today.
Well, you don't have to be wanting to put your house on the market, but these are some things that you might want to keep in mind as you enjoy your home and live in it for years and years and years, because frankly, someday you probably will sell it. So you want to be making smart decisions as you go along and maybe look at your home as a prospective buyer would. And so that's what we're hoping to impart to you today when we go through some ideas and concepts and decisions.
So I think one of the first things that came to mind for me is stainless steel appliances. And it seems like most houses that I see for sale right now do have stainless steel appliances. And it doesn't have to be stainless. I mean, there are some nice kitchens, white kitchens with white refrigerators and so forth. But I think the stainless steel appliances in the kitchen will help you sell your home faster.
Yeah, I think it's just like a check mark. You'd be like, check, stainless appliances. And I think that it just says something. For whatever reason, you could have a more expensive white refrigerator, a better, a more well-respected brand of white refrigerator as compared to a stainless. But there's something like on that, they're only going to be in your house a couple of minutes. It's that visual impact that it gives the sense that it's a higher end kitchen.
It really does.
And here, I'm glad you said that, Kelly, because even though selling and buying a house is one of the biggest decisions you will ever make in your life, a lot of it, believe it or not, is an emotional feeling.
Yeah, because really, how long are they going to stay in your house? It's kind of weird if somebody stays in your house at an open house or with a realtor more than 20 minutes. That's even long, unless they're in the I'm coming back now to look the third time, I'm going to put in an offer. But when they're just coming through to look, and they might not want to come back for the next look if these mental checks are not going off in their head. If they're not seeing what they want to see, they're not going to come back.
There was one house you looked at and the realtor brought you in between the planes or the trains or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was our apartment in New York. It was in between the buses. And I had no idea there was a bus route running right in front of the apartment.
Did you rent it?
Oh, we bought it, baby.
Oh, you bought it. And then
That's okay. Surprise! Don't tell anybody. I sold it to somebody else when the bus was on, taking a lunch break too.
Oh my gosh.
Our previous episode was on surprise elements, so you really had a surprise element.
I did. I had the crosstown bus coming up Madison Avenue right in front of my apartment.
Oh my goodness. Well, but the thing is you have to play to that sense of, how will they feel about it? How will they like it? It's great to have a dry basement and you certainly want to do that, but you just can't believe how much of our feeling and emotion goes into buying a house. So you want to do everything you can, just even like putting a stainless steel appliances in because they seem more up to date and upscale.
Yeah. And Anita, as far as what you said, how you kicked off the show, I don't think there's anything weird about wanting to look in every single house that you're able to get into.
Oh, good.
I love looking at houses, but
Me too.
definitely, tire kicking. And I have a friend who they end up buying houses a lot and they flip them sometimes and use them. Or if a kid goes to school in a certain place, she's like, well, we bought them the house, when I posted something when we were in Asheville the other day, she commented on my Instagram, my friend's son is a real estate agent in Asheville. If you need any, assistance, so you're not alone in liking to look at houses. I love to look inside people's houses. If I see an open house in my neighborhood, I pop in, just whirl around.
Yeah. Well, and part of it too is I'm looking to see, is there something in a house that I can add? Because the house that we have in the mountains, it's plain vanilla and it's just asking for details. So I'm kind of looking to say, do I add these details, or if I found just the perfect house, we might sell that house and buy a different one. So far, though,
you're open. That view, I don't know.
Open.
That
well,
view
no,
is
it would have to have an amazing view of the mountains. No, that's a deal breaker. It has to have that.
Here's something that I think you really need to think about when you're selling your house. If you have wall-to-wall carpeting, the impression that's going to make. Even if it's nice, people are a little turned off these days with wall-to-wall carpeting. And maybe not so much in the bedrooms, but definitely in the living spaces. So that if you're planning maybe the next 5 or so years to sell your house, maybe look into, if you have wall-to-wall carpeting, having hardwood installed and enjoying it while you're living there, and then selling it, because that's going to be something that will never go out of style.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, I'm not sure how much of this I would do just to sell my house. I mean, these are the kind of things that, and we're not suggesting that you do these things just to sell your house, but we're suggesting to feel confident if you do these things that not only can you enjoy them, but the way the market is now, it will definitely help you sell your house as well.
Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh, so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Right. Then you'll be making good design decisions.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you're not in the market to sell your house, these are wonderful things that you can do to your house with an eye towards selling down the road, and really with an eye towards just enjoying life in an updated home.
Mm-hmm. And so something that I've been looking for that is hard to find around there are freestanding tubs. I mean, that is just something that I love. But it's really something that's kind of in the newer homes. And it really depends on the market if they're in there. But that's something that a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah. If you have a bathroom with one of those giant jacuzzi tubs where you press the button and everything, the whole world starts to gyrate, and people think to themselves, I don't want that. I'll probably never use that. And how will I get it out of here? So you might want to put one in if you've got one.
No, see what I'm saying? No. See all this stuff, the carpet, and the garden tub, that's what the house in North Carolina has right now. So, we're looking at a lot of work. There's a lot of
also, we talk about this so often, keeping those wall colors neutral and keeping them neutral throughout the house. Mm-hmm. I know that there's like interesting detail, or, oh gosh, that's a beautiful color of blue. But that may not be a beautiful color of blue to somebody else. And the more blank slate it can look that they can put themselves in that house, the better off you are when you go to sell it.
Yeah, I think you're right. You don't want to go too, specific to your tastes, unless it has a broad, just the more you add color, for example, the more you're going to just narrow down who might be interested in the house. Of course, it can be painted over, but some people just don't want to even do that.
I would say most people don't have the eye to go, oh, I love the bones of that, and I'm willing to do a lot of the work. Kelly, you're a prime example.
Yeah, see, I'm such an outlier.
You are an outlier.
I think, give me, what does the Statue of Liberty say? Give me your
jacuzzi
tubs and your wall-to-wall carpeting.
Oh, that's revolutionary.
Well, I took it too. That's right. And the kitchen, it even has the coil top stove.
Oh, bring it on.
You don't see that much anymore.
Yeah.
No, you really don't see it. Here's another thing that people might not think about. If your house does not have good Wi-Fi and does not connect, what I would suggest that you do, if in fact, certainly while you're living there, you don't want to be getting knocked off when you're, talking to someone on the telephone or have your computer shut down all the time. But if in fact you are thinking about selling your house and you're going to be opening it up to open houses, and all those people are going to have their phones, all those people are going to be taking pictures and sending them to their wife or their husband, or, hey, look at this one. Okay. If they cannot get good connectivity, that's going to be a problem.
I never thought of that, yes. Kelly.
So you can get those little boosters. You can buy them on Amazon, and they're like, they boost the connection. So, if you're too far away from the towers, or you're too far away from where you can grab onto some Wi-Fi, this will connect your house and add these links where people are not going to have a problem. Other things you can do, like, obviously we've talked about the Ring doorbell. We all love that. But even things like that whole Nest system, look into it. There's a lot of things out there, but that is going to be one of those things, like the stainless steel appliances. It's going to be a check. Oh, yes. Oh, AT&T works here. Verizon works here.
Ring doorbell. That's what,
yeah. All these little things to show that you've kept it up to date. But there are so many people who work from home now. No one's going to want to buy a house, no matter what you're charging for it, if they want to work from home and they can't connect.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, although if you have service, some areas just don't have service. So, yeah, my mom's house in rural Oklahoma, I can't get a phone signal there. And for a long time, she didn't have any Wi-Fi. And even the Wi-Fi she had, it's so slow because they don't have a lot of options there.
Okay. So I can never move there.
No, I know. My
no fear of me moving to Oklahoma.
No, I know. It's like I go to
but
my
we have nothing
house
against Oklahoma itself.
No, but
right.
you don't have Wi-Fi. I can't live in that neighborhood.
No, it's just it's the rest of Oklahoma. I'm sure does. It's probably just where my mother is. So,
well, can I just tell this little sort of off the beaten track story? We're talking about Wi-Fi. So I was meeting a friend at Mod Pizza for lunch the other day, and she was late. So, of course, what do you do if you're the first person there? You get a seat and you open my purse, and there was no phone. So I'm going like, what? I know. Like I thought, cause I always I'll work. I can work from my phone. I've got a lot of work to do. And so I had no pencil or no pen and nothing to write on, which
so then I just had to sit there and stare at the wall. Lists.
Well, you know what? I mean, it was a lesson in, and I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to look at the people. And I had more fun watching the people and watching them on their devices.
And isn't it strange when you look around and everyone is on their phone all the time?
Well, and that's interesting you say that, because down the street from me, I was walking and everyone was just standing around looking at their phones. I mean, a lot of people, not just one or two people. And finally I asked someone, I said, what's going on? Why is everyone standing here looking at their phone? And they said it was that Pokemon game, the Pokemon Go or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It was some game that anyway, whatever. That's
so in other words, the moral of the story is I don't think I'm a big user of my phone that much. That I have a wake up call. So even if you don't think you are, you probably are. And Wi-Fi is very important when you're selling your home, because it's really important to most of us.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then another thing, and this is controversial, at least on this podcast, is what kind of countertops are going to help you sell your house. And because
even mention?
Well, let's just call it natural stone is going to do.
Okay. Natural stone. Check. Right. But that's even kind of dicey, because the browns are not doing as well as the black and the gray and the white right now.
I read that too. Anita. Mm-hmm. That too much of the brown granite is not a good thing.
Well, it's just, I mean,
like the speckled,
Yeah. It's not selling as well.
But that doesn't mean you have to tear everything else out.
No, we're not saying don't tear it out. No,
I know you're not.
Come back around. We're giving you
right, but maybe you lighten up the rest of it. Maybe you paint the cabinets.
What I'm saying is, if you're putting it in, I wouldn't go with that, because that's not going to help you sell it right now. But if you have it, well, we'll just work around it. We'll do some other things. We'll have some other ideas for you.
Let's go into the kitchen. If you're going to, if you're thinking about designing a new kitchen, you might want to think about having more cabinet space and maybe a bigger island rather than making a breakfast nook. Now, I don't know about that personally, but again, I'm a bit of an outlier in this whole buying a house thing. But people like to see a lot of cabinetry. I wonder how the open shelving, like all of that's now been done. And, maybe those houses are going to start to turn over where there isn't a lot of upper cabinetry. I wonder how that appeals to the next set of buyers.
Yeah. I was just going to ask that question, Kelly.
I like the look, but, where are you going to put that ugly, plastic containers? Or, there's a lot of...
I think it's a slow train out, to be honest with you, because it's not very practical. You've got to be very careful about what you put there, because it can look very busy. I love the idea of it. I just don't think most people can live with it.
The good thing about that, well, just getting back to the open shelving, if you're purchasing a house that someone has either designed that way or taken out the cabinets that were there and done open shelving, it's really pretty easy just to put the cabinets back if you wanted them. If you wanted some closed face cabinets or even glass fronted cabinets, but just something with a front on it. That's pretty much an easy fix. You're certainly not demolishing the whole kitchen just to do that. If they've done this cool kitchen, it's got the stainless and it's got all this great stuff going on, and they had some shelves, just pop in some more cabinets. There's a fix.
I would give up shelf space for a huge, big window, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be worth it for me too.
Yeah, I think that might be I mean, I didn't research this part of it, but I'm just saying, I just get a gut feeling. Most people would give up a little cabinet space to have a beautiful, beautiful view or an open window.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. If you can add more natural light to a house, I think that it's going to appeal across the board. Nobody's going to be like, I love that house. It was so dark. No one's ever really said that. It was so dank and dark in there. I loved it. So they want light.
Kelly, for the breakfast nook, keep the breakfast nook. That's how I feel.
That's your opinion, huh?
Well, at some point.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
We actually have the big island and we had the breakfast nook, and I'm the one that insisted to the builder that we add that breakfast nook because in our other house, previous house, we used our breakfast nook every day for all the meals.
So do we.
And but we have such a large island, we eat around the island, and there's a peninsula, and so I hate to admit it, but we don't really use the breakfast nook much
But it
anymore.
Photographs really well.
Well, it does photograph well. So it's good for a blogger.
Useful. It's useful if you can take pictures of it, and then if you have a breakfast nook, then you can start a blog.
And then you just put it on your Instagram account. There you go.
Yeah. What do you think about these like built-in entertainment areas? I think real estate agents always make a big deal about that. And as much as I like to have people over, I don't feel that for my lifestyle now, having a huge entertainment area would really work for me. You can only have so much space, right? So I don't know if that would be for me personally, but again, it's hard for me to judge.
Kelly, I think all of us are outliers here. I think all of us are because I do have bookshelves on either side of my mantle, but I wouldn't call it an entertainment center. It has my TV in it. It wasn't meant to be in it. It just sort of propped up that way. But I also think that most people, I think they might like the entertainment centers.
I don't know. I think it's more of a real real estate thing. Unless you're really, having parties every weekend, or you have a giant family and people are coming over. I'm talking about like a dedicated bar area with bar stools and things like that. That would be separate from a kitchen.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking totally different. When you're saying, I'm thinking like an entertainment area with the TV, with the bookshelves and all that kind of stuff.
No. I mean, that's like family room stuff. Now I'm talking about like a really dedicated place. Like I'm having, 20 people over, or, every weekend, something like that. Or those media rooms were so hot for a while. I mean, not everybody, that's not going to be something that works in every single house, but that was such a big deal for a while, that people were turning bonus rooms into media rooms, or turning garages into media rooms. I don't know how that's going to fly.
Well, it's interesting. So you're talking about the remember the wet bars? We had a wet bar in our old house that was built in the late 70s. I mean, they were super hot then. Mm-hmm. They were out. But now I see that bars are back in. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, so I don't know. Are they, or
I think bars are classic.
I read they were. I don't know.
I wouldn't do a built-in bar, though. I think you can get away with really cute piece of furniture made into a bar.
Yeah, a bar cart. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or
there
a bar
you go.
Cart. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Here's another thing. I think whenever you do things with your woodwork and some beautiful features like wainscoting and beadboard and those kind of wooden elements in your house, I think the architecture, I think that's always a win.
Yeah, adding crown molding, something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not going to lose your money on that. And your house is just going to have so much more oomph if you add that.
Yeah, and it just gives it a character, and it takes it from being a tract home to something that's really custom made, because, most of those things are custom made, that you can't get away with them without doing some kind of skilled work, to have it done right. So I think that's always a win-win.
Yeah, and you can do something interesting on the ceiling, just something to sort of set your house apart. Do the planking, something like that, adding to the structure in a way that's pretty affordable, but it is going to give your house this extra character. And that's something that I think goes a long way. For sure. I know my house was obviously really old and has a lot of that anyway, but other houses that I've lived in haven't been that old, but
you can create it.
You can create it.
Yeah. And then for your kitchen, painting the cabinets or even refacing them if they look dated, to reface, which isn't as cheap as it sounds. But you can do that. And then that'll give it a whole fresh new look.
Here's another thing. If you have carpeting on your stairs, rip it out. If you have just plywood underneath, I don't know that I'd rip them out then. I don't quite know what I do other than paint, but a lot of them have a nice grade wood underneath. And we have painted the risers of two different sets of stairs. One, our front steps, the risers are painted white. In the back, the risers are painted black. And they look really sharp. And they had carpeting on them, and we ripped them up. And they were golden oak, and we just painted everything. And it looks great.
It's interesting you say that, because I know in my old neighborhood upstairs, I know some people that ripped out the carpet, and all that was underneath it was basically wood subfloor. It wasn't nice
like a plywood wood sub. Mm-hmm.
Right, but they refinished it or redid it. They painted it. It looked amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And they didn't put in a new floor. I mean, that's a cheap
fix. That is. Uh-huh.
But they had a really talented carpenter who was handling it. So you really need to know what you're doing on that. Because there were, there's gaps in the floor. What a difference
that'll make to resell your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a client that I was working with. I was just going to say real fast, and I mentioned to her that she could do that. I mean, she started crying because she was, tears of joy, because she could not afford to put new flooring up there, but she wanted the carpet gone. So yeah, it's a nice option.
There's something about somebody else's carpeting that's just unappealing.
Yeah.
In general. So I think if you can remove that, even on the stairs, or as we said, the wall to wall, I think that will go a long way. Well, this has been fun. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm going to be the old lady from Pasadena someday in like 100 years. I'll still be here doing my thing. But who knows? I could be, you never know. But it's good to have these thoughts in mind. And if you have real questions about your neighborhood, if you're thinking about any sort of major renovation, or even if it's something like adding a swimming pool or things like that, and you want to know, gosh, for the amount of time I'm going to be here compared to what it's going to cost me, what can I expect when and if I decide to sell my house, contact a local real estate agent.
Absolutely.
They will come over. They're not going to charge you anything. And, the hopes for them is then when you are going to sell your house that you'll remember them and you'll call them and they'll get the listing. So you can do that and get some real information about your specific geographic area and what's going on and, the market trends and things like that. But keeping all these things in mind, what the general populace is looking for when they're looking to purchase a house is just a good frame of reference when you're going to be renovating, because no matter what you're doing, whether it's taking up some carpeting or redoing an entire kitchen, it's your money and it's all costly and it's time as well. So we hope we've helped you today. And remember, we're here to help you, inspire you, and to create a beautiful home. Until next time. Thanks so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, then subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. We're coming at you 3 times a week, and so we want you to keep up. So head over to any of your podcast listeners or iTunes and just sign up to get notified when we have a new episode. And also, don't miss out on the sales at bespokedecor.store. Head over there, bespokedecor.store, and sign up for our insider email list. And that way you won't miss a thing that's going on there either. And Anita and I are taking Bespoke Decor on the road. We will be heading to Round Top, Texas, to the famous Round Top Antique Show. We'll specifically be at the Blue Hills area. I understand that Round Top is humongous and is going to completely wow me. I've never been before. So if you've never been, maybe this will be your year as well. And if you have been and you're familiar with Blue Hills, then for sure, come and see us there. Let us know if you're coming, and we'll give you all the details that you need to know to pinpoint us in the sea of antiques and fabulous things. So we'll be there at the end of September through the entire show. We're going to have special events at our booth. There'll be stuff to buy, us to chat with, and cold drinks to be had, because I understand it gets pretty steamy there in Round Top. And if I have anything to do with it, there'll be some wine, ladies. So definitely head over and visit us in person in Round Top, Texas, coming up the end of September 2018.